loved and the ones we wish never happened. It's okay. Every step of your journey has made you priceless as that voice. And so how do I know that? So today, yes, my husband Paul and I are very blessed to serve so many. We do live events. We just did our 41st live in-person event. We're blessed to do many live events. Yeah, we have a platform where we reach thousands of people around the world, and we're blessed to be able to serve them. We've been featured in many ways and have unbelievable friends and peers and speaking on stages and featured in books. And yeah, our podcast, the Relationship Transformer podcast, hit over 100,000 downloads in just a couple of months. Spoke on the Funnel Hacking Live stage to 5,000 people. Spoke on the 10X stage with Russell to 35,000 people. I guess now and here, I'm going to have to add this one in next, right? And that's all awesome. And that's who we are today. And that's what we're doing now. But I want you to get that that's not where it started. It's not where it started for me. And it's not where it's starting for you. And so 20 years ago, this is where it started. So that's little Stacy and Paul 20 years ago. That was us 20 years ago. I've been with my husband for 23, 4, something like that, years. And 20 years ago, it was actually July last month, 20 years this year. My husband drove up the driveway, and I happened to be sitting outside on the bench with our dog. And I remember when he got out of the car, from the look on his face, I knew there was something wrong. You ever have that feeling where you look at someone and you're like, oh my God, what happened, right? You know that feeling? I had that feeling, but I also instantly knew that it had something to do with me. And he said the words to me, we need to talk. My heart started pounding. I started breathing. We walked inside and sat on the couch. And he proceeded to tell me all the reasons why, no matter what he tried, that this just was not going to work and that he was leaving. And as I sat there listening to Paul tell me all the things about how I didn't need him for anything, and no matter how hard he tried to make me happy, he felt like he was just making things worse. And I heard his story, I could feel the tears start to roll down my cheeks. Now, that might seem like a very normal reaction for all of you, probably mostly normal people. But at the time, unlike the woman that you see here today and the woman that you'll get to know as me, back then, my nickname was the Ice Princess. And it was super well-deserved. I was a no-feeling, black and white, kicking butt, massive achiever kind of girl. And my nickname was the Ice Princess. And so I never cried. Paul had never seen me cry. And so as the tears started to roll, the tears turned into sobs, which turned into an unraveling. I started to break down. You know, have you ever heard that phrase, some people break down, other people break open? You ever hear that phrase before? That must have been what was happening to me, although it would have been helpful to know that at the time. And as I started to unravel, I started to feel a surge of love for my husband that honestly I had never felt before, really never let myself feel. And as I started to sob and I felt this surge of love for Paul well up inside of me, I had what I would call a panicked moment. Because in one consistent moment, I realized several things were true at the same time. One was, people can feel love like this. This is a real thing. This is not just in movies or in songs. People can feel love like this. I feel this kind of love for Paul. And at the same time, I knew that I had ruined it by not knowing what I was doing. And no matter what kind of love I felt for him, I was never going to get to live in that love because he was walking out the door. And I literally broke down in that moment, facing my husband, and honestly, all the truths that he was telling, because I couldn't disagree with anything he was saying. Our relationship was crap. I didn't know what I was doing. in that moment, I did the only thing I could think of to do. And I hope you won't judge me, but the truth is just the truth in this moment, right? I begged my husband for a second chance. I did. I didn't have any relationship skills or tools. I did the only thing I could think of to do. And I begged him for a second chance. And I said, Paul, you're 100% right. Our relationship is crap. And I don't know what I would do to fix it, but I will tell you one thing I know for sure. This has not been the best of me. This has not been the best of me. I don't know how to do relationship. I've never had a role model that modeled a relationship for me. Maybe you too. And I was full on, totally congruent that I could figure this out. I could become at least the best of me. And I said to him, we laugh about it now, but I say, I've been playing half-assed since the day that you walked in here, waiting for the day when you were going to leave. At least give me a chance to play whole-assed. And then if you don't love the real me, I will release you with love, but let me do the best that I can. Let me throw it all in. Very blessed to have heard my husband tell this story many, many times in our life, and he always tells it the same way. And he said in that moment, me opening in that way, he felt like he met the real Stacy for the very first time. And so I set out on the journey of a lifetime. I dove in. I read every book I could get my hands on. If there was a speaker, my butt was in the seat. I listened to every program over and over again. I tried everything I could get my hands on. And through a lot of trial and error, what I figured out single-handedly saved my marriage. Now, you have to know, this is Paul and Stacy 20 years ago. So Paul's version of a second chance back then was, okay, Stacy, clearly you have some stuff you want to work on. There's nothing for me to do, of course, but clearly you do, so you go ahead. So there was going to be no couples work, anything. And I've read book after book after book. Well, ask your husband to do this. Tell your husband. Tell my husband. Have you met my husband? Tell my husband nothing is exactly should be the name of this book, because there's no telling my husband anything. This is on me. And so I went trial and error until I finally figured out how to shift things in how I show up. And I single-handedly saved our marriage. Now, can you imagine, looking back now, and there was no Stacy and Paul Martino, there was no relationship development, there was no 8 steps, there was no mentor, there was no guide. There was a guide, right? And this was my journey, right? And looking back, I know why I had to struggle through that so that I would teach. And you too. I figured it out on the steps of my journey. And then it was just for us until one day when Paul was dropping off our son to kindergarten and our whole world changed. Paul had our son Jake in the car with him and he was driving him to kindergarten. And Jake said, "Daddy, what's a divorce?" And Paul said, "Oh, we're having this conversation. Well, what do you mean, what's a divorce? Why are you asking?" And he said, "Well, my friend," and he named his friend who's in his kindergarten class, said that his going to be in the house anymore. And Paul literally felt like his heart was being ripped out of his chest. And he came home that night and he said, "Stacy, we know this family. Not every marriage is meant to last, but we know this family. And the truth of the matter is, if they just knew what we knew, those kids might be sleeping down the hall tonight from 2 parents instead of just 1. And he sat me down. He said, "Stacy, this can't just be for us. We have to help people. I cannot sit by and watch families unnecessarily unravel when we have the tools, the strategies, we know what we did. We have to help them." And so we felt the moral obligation to teach others what we figured out. We set out on a mission, and our mission is to serve families to empower you with everything you need to transform your relationships. And in figuring out, okay, what were the steps? What did we do? How did we do it? What are the tools? How are we going to teach it? Which I'm going to go into and teach you as well how to do that for yourself. We crack the code. Good marriage, make a great marriage legendary, heal a co-parenting relationship so that you can be harmonious, get into your best relationship, whatever it is for you. We happen to crack the code on relationship, all in a way that it only takes one person to transform any relationship. We don't do any couples work. That's not part of what our method is. We empower one person, just you, to be the hero for your family, for your marriage, your parenting, your business relationships, your family relationships, your relationship with yourself, all of them. Now, in the beginning, this is how we figured out how we're going to teach others to do what it is that we figured out. So you might want to take a photo of this slide so that you can do this for yourself too. We had to answer these 3 questions. If I were going to teach someone else how to get the same results that we've gotten, number 1, what do I need to teach them to do? Number 2, what do I ensure they not do? Like, you have to tell people what not to do. For instance, I'm going to give you one right now. Write this down. If you learn nothing else from working with me, get this. Couples work doesn't work. There's a reason why couples work today has an 80% divorce rate coming out of it, as some studies are showing. Couples work is massively destructive. In my experience, I've helped thousands of people in every kind of family all over the planet. I work with one person. Don't do couples work. And yet we've all been conditioned, right? You have a problem? Go to couples counseling, go to couples therapy. And we've been brainwashed to think that. It's so important. It's like the first thing we tell people is, please don't go to do couples work. It's super destructive. Don't even bring couples work to my stuff. And my stuff works all the time. But unless you bring couples work to it, and then the blame and sideshow starts, right? And so you have to be willing to also will this make sense for them? So those are the 3 things. What do I need to teach them to do? What do I need to ensure that they don't do? That's your level of being willing to protect the people that you serve, regardless of how unpopular what it is that you're saying. How many of you are disruptors? How many of you? Where are my disruptors? Right? You're trying to get your message out, right? I see you. Carolyn and Stacy and Christina and Damon, I see you. Yeah, and Stu, right? Because people are being told to do something that's clearly putting them in the toilet. That's why it's not working out. Of course, what you're going to say is going to be disruptive. Trust me, a lot of what I say is disruptive. I'm not everybody's flavor. But what we do works. And what you do works too. And so those are the 3 steps. Did you get a picture of that slide? Because that's like my number 1 thing that, oh, there you go. You get a picture of the slide. All right, you guys are awesome. All right. That is how Paul and I invented our relationship development methodology, our 8-step relationship transformation system, and ultimately the over 300 tools in the relationship development toolbox. We created those over 10 years. Don't freaking freak out. Be like, oh my God, I can't create 300 tools. When I started, I had a few tools and my steps, and I'm going to take you through that now too. But over time, if what you're doing works, the beauty is there is no giving without receiving. Every day that you help others, you figure out, oh yeah, I think there were some steps in what I just did. 4 people asked the same question. I gave the same answer. Maybe I should put that in my content. Every time you give, you receive. More tools go in the toolbox. Cool stuff, but nothing beats this blessing right here. This is why we do it. Our Relationship U program has a 1% divorce rate and a 99% success rate over 6 years. 6 years. No one can touch that. Nowhere. That is the blessing. That's right. Amen, 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 amen. That is the blessing. Do you know how many families came to us after 1 year of failed couples work? 2, 3, 4, 7. Counselors literally prescribing divorce. There's no other fix for you. You have to get a divorce. Came to our program, 99% success rate. Why? Because the old way is broken and we have invented a new methodology that works. And doesn't every single family deserve to have that in their hands? Don't you want to see every single family have that in their hands? Every man, woman, and child across the planet? I do. And I want them to have your solution too. Can you imagine if I had stopped 10 years ago and said, I'm not smart enough. I didn't get a degree in psychology. I don't know anything about business. I don't know anything about marketing. Can you imagine if I had talked myself out of it? Where would these families be? What would have happened to those children in those homes if I had made this about me? It's gotta be for them. It's gotta be for them that you get up every day. Will you get up every day for them? Let me see you. I want to see you. Awesome. I see you. Oh, and the yes and the waving. Look at you, Catherine, prepared with your yes sign. I see you all waving. Look at you. 3 signs, Lindy. Awesome. And Lisa and Stu, Rebecca, fantastic. That's what it's got to be about. That's what we do more for. It's got to be for them. You have to love your students enough to serve them and deliver results. Write that down. I have to love my students enough to serve them and deliver results. Look, I know you've got all kinds of drunk monkey chatter that comes up. That's what Paul and I call it. It's like the drunk monkey that lives in your head narrating all your crap. You got to silence that monkey sometimes. So sometimes the drunk monkey chatter comes up and you're like, oh my gosh, this is too hard. This is too technical. I don't know how to do this. Can't do this alone. We have all of that crap. Just come back to this. You have to love them enough to serve them and deliver results. Look, I know you can serve them and I know you can deliver results. And I know you love them. That's what you need. And you've got that in spades. You've got loads of that. Will you do that? And will you come back to this message when that drunk monkey tries to shut it up? Be like, drunk monkey, we love you too. We know you have some issues you want to work on, but we got to focus right now. We got to focus. All right. If you love them, and you're committed to serving them, then it comes down to the strategy, your process, your frameworks, and your steps. And we can teach you how to do that. How many of you, that's the part that scares you? You're like, I know what I do, but my process, my frameworks, my steps, let me see you. I see you. Awesome. God bless you. Amen. Awesome. Look at you. Gorgeous people. I love it. Fantastic. Yes, I see the signs. We can teach you that. I want you to write this down in your journal. All of the strategy is teachable. All of the strategy is teachable. Write it down. I'm not guessing. I'm also the student, right? Russell is my mentor. We have a saying around town here, hashtag do what Russell says. And you know what? I did it. I did it. All of that is teachable. We can teach that to you. Don't be scared. You can do this, and we can show you how. Want to see how I did it? Would that be helpful? Would you like to see how I did that? Yes, awesome. Look, we got the hands going and the cheering. This is great. All right, everybody, we're gonna play. I'm gonna walk you through one of our tools. All right, so I'm gonna teach you one of the tools that we developed that's in the relationship development toolbox, and you'll see how this whole thing plays out. So this tool is called right hand, left hand. So it's funny, Dean was telling a story about when he started with Tony Robbins 25 years ago, he was talking about. It's interesting because this year is my 24th year. I started with Tony Robbins 24 years ago. And I used to coach a lot of folks in the personal development space. Where are my growth people? Let me see you. Put your hands up. Where are all my growth people at? Yes, amen. I love it. I love it. So I used to be, of course, that was my peer group, growth and development junkie right here. And I used to coach a lot of folks in the personal development space. And I noticed this dynamic that kept coming up. People would leave a personal development event like a UPW, right? Like a Date with Destiny, unbelievable. Like the World Summit that's coming up, unbelievable, life-changing events. And they would leave that event and this little cute little dynamic would happen. Maybe you recognize this. They would go home to the people in their lives and they would vomit all their personal development all over them about the event that they had just been to. Let me see you. Let me see you. This is you, right? Right? Aunt Beth just says, hey, can I have another piece of pecan pie, even though I probably shouldn't? And you're 15 minutes into why your raw food cleanse changed your life. And she's like, child, I just wanted another piece of pie. Can we can it on the celery juice and the 21-day raw food cleanse? And so it doesn't go very well. You've had this life experience, yes, where you're vomiting your personal development. And so this dynamic kept coming up. And write this down, take notes, because this is your life too. Two outcomes come from that. Two outcomes. One is you start to pull back. You start to release some of the breakthrough that you've had. You go back to a little bit of playing small because you feel their resistance. That they're uncomfortable with your growth. And so you kind of start this slide back to where you were so that everybody around you is a little bit more comfortable with you being who you used to be, right? That's the first option. The second option is you're like, you know what? Screw all of you. If you don't like me in this change, then go to hell. Like I'm done with you. You're out of my life. I'm not even going to talk to you anymore. I'm so happy. This is the best my life has ever been. And if you don't get that about me, then, talk to the hand. I don't care. Screw you. And they alienate people in their lives. Now, both of those outcomes suck. Neither one of those outcomes is a prize. And so I created this tool called right hand, left hand, originally just to help my clients navigate this. Now we teach it to all of our students, and I'm going to teach it to all of you. Are you ready? Say, I'm ready. I'm ready. Okay. There are 3 groups of people in your life. How many? 3. Amen. 3 groups. One is toxic people. We're not going to talk about them. We'll have a separate event and we'll talk about that. The other 2 primary groups of people in your life are your friends and family and what we call your 7th power. Where are my Tony Robbins people? Your 7th power. So your 7th power people in your life are the people that you grow with, the people that are on the development path with you, the people that when you read a book, you're like, dude, you got to read this book. Right? The people, when you do an event, you're like, oh my God, the event, let me just tell you everything. The people that are also growing that you can share with and they share back. These are the people that champion you and celebrate you when you grow. And if we're being honest, these are also the people that if you're not reaching the top of your mountain of potential and you're slacking, they will get behind you and kick you all the way to the top if that's what it takes, because they are on your side. They are your seventh power. Those are your people. That's your seventh power group. Now, the other group of people in your life, probably the biggest percentage of people in your life, is your friends and family. They're not toxic. They're just not on the personal development path. Write this down. Just because my friends and family are not into personal development does not make them toxic. Can we just take a deep breath and breathe that out? It does not make them toxic. They're your friends and family. They're not into personal growth and development, and that's okay. They don't have to be. And so we created this tool to help you learn how to navigate that. So everybody stand up, wherever you are, stand up. Everybody get up. Stand up from your chairs. Awesome. Put your hands out in front of you like this. Oh, I love you. Look at all of you. All right, awesome. Right hand, left hand. Your seventh power is in your left hand. This is where your tribe is. These are the people you grow with. These are the people who will support and champion you. And these are the people who will stretch you. Right hand, friends and family. They're not on the personal development path, but they're not toxic in your life. They're just not into it. They're not on the same road you're on, but they're your friends and your family. Pain happens, put your hands together, when you don't know what hand you're in. That's right. When you don't know what hand you're in. Grab a seat, write this down. Pain happens when I don't know what hand I'm in. And so there's a solution. It's a framework. Write this down. It's 2 steps to solve this. Because what I see is so many people will say like, oh, only surround yourself with positive people then. Like screw between them and their creator. And honestly, that ain't none of your business. And just because they're not into what you're into doesn't mean you need to cut them out of your life. We can all grow here. And if someone tells you that, that's okay. They only want the best for you. They just ran to the end of their skill set. That's all. And I'm going to extend your skill set now so that you don't have to live that way. Because the truth is you can have it all and your relationships can thrive too. 2 steps. 1, write this down. 1, know my role. Oh, sorry, that's 2. Scratch that. Number 1, know what hand I'm in. Know what hand I'm in. Thank you. Before I interact with someone, am I in my right hand? Are they in my right hand or are they in my left hand? Know what hand I'm in. I'm going to a group with my mastermind friends, left hand. Awesome. Go for it. Talk about everything. Strategize, share, talk about the book you're writing, your mastermind course, all of it. Or am I going to Aunt Susie's? And I need to like buck up and be ready for that because they're my friends and family. Okay, know what hand you're in. That's step number 1. Step number 2, know your role. Know your role. When you're with your left hand, people, your seventh power, your tribe, your community. Yes, do it all. Share, get your validation there if you need that. Talk about it, strategize, share, and let them share back, support them, all of it. When you're with your friends and family group, the right hand, you only have 2 jobs. Write this down, please, my friends. 2 jobs. 1, lead by example. You don't have to vomit the example, live it. Lead by example. Live your life as the example. So that if they ever do want that solution, if they ever do want to shift, if they ever do want to grow, they have watched you do it. They will seek you out because you lived it. Number one. Number two, they will never seek you out. They will never ask unless you do role number two, your job, role number two when you're with your friends and family. It's the hardest thing to do. And it is the answer to it all. Give unconditional compassion to them for wherever they are in their journey of life without judgment. Give unconditional compassion to them for wherever they are in their journey of life without judgment. If you do that, and if you show up that way, and you're living by example, when they want to grow, they will seek you out because you've been that force in their life. And here's why. Put your hands out again. You have a seventh power. You have a tribe in your left hand. That tribe has been placed there. You have joined it. We're here together today so that you fill up from your left hand, so you have to give in your right. Say, I will give from my right. I will give from my right. Receive in the left, give in the right. Give. How many of you have had kerfuffles with family members over time because they just didn't get what you were doing? They didn't love hearing what your solution is, even though they've been complaining for 20 years about that same person in their payroll department at work. And you can't listen anymore. And you're like, I told you 6 years ago what to do, but you don't listen to me. How many of you have had kerfuffles with family? This is the answer. And you know what? It's as much for them as it is for you. Because we can all stand to exercise our muscle and grow in our ability to give unconditional compassion to those around us in our world. In fact, if I may say so, there are many humans on the planet today who will live their whole lives and pass never having felt unconditional compassion from another human their whole journey. You could be that person for someone. That is the difference of using the right hand, left hand tool. Will you leave and use the right hand, left hand tool from here on in? Will you use it and remember? Yes, amen, amen, amen. I see you. Amen. Oh God, look at your gorgeous faces. I love it. Here's the thing, folks. That was a framework. That was a tool. You have that inside of you too, and you don't even know it yet. Frameworks are the way that we make everything digestible for people to learn from us. And here's the Stacy version of that. Name it and make it a tool. Name it. Name your framework. If you get one thing out of this session with me today that will change the trajectory of your effectiveness and your service forever, name your framework and make it a tool. Why? Why create tools? Frameworks make your content digestible, usable, and repeatable. Digestible, usable, repeatable. But the tool makes it so they reach for it, they use it. I'm going to say, take a picture. Let me ask you, do you feel like you can use the right hand, left hand tool after you leave this class today? Honestly. And if it's no, it's no. But do you feel like you could use this when you leave here today? Excellent. That looks like almost everybody raising their hand. All right. Well, let me ask you this. How many of you feel like you might remember the right hand, left hand tool for a year, maybe even years to come. You might remember this. Excellent. Wow, look at all that. And I know we all have crap memories today, right? We can't remember jack. I don't even know why I walked into this room. Here's the difference. If I just taught you how to show up in your relationships and get better results without naming it right hand, left hand, and giving you the framework, do you feel like you would remember that 10 years from now? Look at these heads shaking no. No. That right there, that is why you build frameworks and name them to create tools. That right there. So that years from now, there'll be people all over the world saying the names of your tools and using your content to get great results, real results in their lives. Are you with me? You got that? I know you're writing. God bless you. I know, and I talk fast too. This is impact. This is service. This is about meaning, truly showing up to serve. It is your How do I know that? No one else can do what I do because they don't have my journey. And I can't do what you do because I don't have your journey. How many of you feel you struggle to feel prepared? How many of you? Let me see you occasionally. You don't feel confident, capable, ready enough. You don't feel prepared. Let me tell you right now, my friends, from my heart to yours, life has been preparing you. Life has been preparing you. You know, I shared that 24 years ago, I started with Tony Robbins. I was sitting on my couch. If I had to guess, I would say I was probably eating ice cream. It was 2:00 in the morning, flipping through the channels, landed on QVC, and there's this big giant man talking about how amazing life could be. And I was sitting there and I remember grabbing a legal pad off of the top of my stack of work and a pencil and just writing as fast as I could, writing down everything that he said. And then he said the 9 words that literally ended my old life and started my new one. He said, "What if this is as good as it gets?" And in my head, the voice said, "I don't know if I want to go on." And it was in that moment that I left the old talk, the old mindset, the old everything behind. I picked up my phone, dialed the number for QVC, press 1 to order back in those days. Like, should I go for the extra $20 to get CDs instead of cassettes? Got the program, listened to it over and over and over again. Of course, that program is now the Ultimate Edge program, definitively the greatest personal development program on the planet in existence. And it was the beginning of what changed my life. It was the change in your life. How many of you? And you didn't even know it now, but looking back now, you're like, holy crap, that was it. But in the moment, it just felt like Tuesday, right? You don't even know. That was 24 years ago. And 1 year later, I walked into a party with my friend from my accounting firm. And he said, "Oh, I want to introduce you to my friend, Paul Martino." And I met my husband. And thank God, Tony had been preparing me for how to see life and how to understand human wiring. Everything I was before I needed it. Tony came into my life. The universe brought me my husband. Your life has been preparing you. The universe, whatever it is for you, has been preparing you right before you have needed it. Anytime you question it, your life has been preparing preparing you. Only you can do what you do because only you have your journey. You know, we all have a yellow brick road to our own Oz, the result that we want. And everybody has their own yellow brick road. Your journey that you have been on is what's going to become their yellow brick road with you. Your journey that you have now has qualified you to be that person. And the steps of your journey become their steps in their yellow brick road with you. Deliver results. Always give more, right? Over deliver. Tony was talking about it last night, how you always over deliver, and that's how you get results with people. And sometimes we can feel like, wow, that feels like a lot. That feels like a burden. Over delivering feels like I'm going to have to be giving all the time. When is that going to come back to me? There is no giving without receiving. There's a gift to over delivering. Paul and I have been doing our Relationship U program for 7 years now. That's the program where we have a 1% divorce rate. We have a 96% advancement rate in that program. 96% of our programs, it's a $15,000 a year program. 96% of them rush to sign up again for another year. How would you like to keep 96% of the people that ever sign up for your program and just keep growing every year? Would that be helpful to you? Would that work for you? That's what happens when you over deliver. That's what happens when you deliver results. And it's unheard of. People ask us all the time, how do you do that? We deliver results, our solution works, we love our students, and they know we're not doing this for us. We're doing this for them. Paul and I are good. There's a lot of things we could do. We have been called to serve. There's only one reason why we get up every day, and that is to give every family this opportunity to create this result for themselves as well. It is our calling. And so what about your people? I know you think, oh, that's great, Stacey, that you have people, but I don't know where my people are. I don't know who my people are. I don't know how to find my people. How many of you have thought that at times? What about my people? Where am I going to find them? The key is your people are actually waiting for you to serve them. They are. They're sitting in prayer each night. They are begging for answers every day. They are waiting for you to show up and give them your knowledge, your info, your experience, the solution that you have. They're waiting for you. How will you know them? How will they know that it's you they were waiting for when you show up? Because you were them. And the truth is, they are you. They are you in your before story. And when you see each other, you'll know them. And they'll know you. Your days of holding yourself back are over. Number one, they need you. Number two, your journey is their step by step. And number three, you know them and they know you. Your days of holding yourself back are over. And now we're giving you the how. We're literally giving you the how and walking you through it. So if you ever doubt, oh, is this for me also? Like, I know maybe for them, but is this for me also? Look at who showed up in your life right now to guide you. Oh, I just got chills. Look who showed up now, right before you needed it. Clearly, you've asked, and you have been heard and answered. There is no better Glenda to guide you on this yellow brick road. It's your time. God bless, and thank you for sharing it with me. Awesome. Thank you.